All right, good evening, guys. Kenneth Tortoise Capital Nightly Strategy Podcast for April 17th, 2024. Start with the hybrid swing portfolio. This is Alcoa, 30 minutes per bar. This yellow box represents today's range. This was yesterday's close. There was a gap up to here. It rolled over pretty quickly, broke through the VWAP. We took the short here with a standard risk box just above the VWAP. That's where if this had reversed and gone that way, we'd have been long here. But it didn't. It kind of rolled down and then reversed off the Bollinger Band mean, off of the 5-day anchored VWAP. So on failure to fail further, we collected 1R. Then it rolled over along with the rest of the market, and when it crossed below the 5-day anchored VWAP, we got short once more at the PSAR flip, same standard risk, and this sold off all the way to here and then rebounded. We got out after collecting another 3R. So a net of 4R on Alcoa today. A great trading vehicle. AI, this was an afternoon breakout from sideways quiet channel, broke above the PSAR, put a standard risk. It ran up, came back. We preserved 1R. Caterpillar, collapsing dragon, 2R, standard exit. Cliff, this was a gap up and go. So here's was yesterday's close. Here was the gap up. It continued to move up, got long with the standard risk. It ran all the way up to here and then came all the way down. So we cashed a fraction. It continued to fail. So we got short standard risk. It came back to the Bollinger Band mean, the 30-day VWAP, and the bounced off the dragon. So we preserved 1R. CVS, PSAR, flip, collapsing dragon. The RL10 went into winter mode as it did that. You can see this was all summer, then fall, and then as it crosses the PSAR this morning, it turns to winter. So we put a standard risk. This is also a collapsing dragon, sells off hard. Here's the turning point in the RL10, and then we take the exit at the skin of the dragon for 2R. Standard work. DIA got short as the market began selling off. Here was the gap up, ran all the way up and started to fail, came through the Bollinger Band mean, through the VWAP, through the anchored 5-day VWAP. So we got short, standard risk. Here's where the RL10 reversed. We take the exit at the skin of the dragon, captured 2R. That is a 1, 2, 3 entry the other way, speculated in with the standard risk, captured another 1R. So a net of 3 on that V-shaped trade. What's very handy about that RL10 is how it comes to that sharp point at turning points. It gives you a very clear indication of directionality. So we like it for that reason. Disney, PSAR flip for half an hour. Devon Energy, 1, 2, 3 to the short side for 3R, standard exit. Let's see, ETHE, This was a 1, 2, 3 off the bottom. That's an SSC all day. And we captured one on the 1, 2, 3. Mexico rolled over 1, 2, 3 short for an R. Brazil, no trade. Home Depot, no trade. It's setting in a bottom. Intel was a gap down and drop, collapsing dragon style, standard risk. Half an R after it reversed off the RL10 change of direction. International paper, collapsing dragon, standard risk, standard 3R. IYR, real estate, 1, 2, 3 long off the reversal of the RL10. This is an owl entry, and it gets a fraction when it did not follow through further. That's a case where you don't let it come all the way back to break even. You might as well get paid a little bit for your trouble. Coca-Cola, this was a gap up and go. Came rolling back for a scratch. I thought about the re-entry here, didn't take it, regretted it at the end of the day that I hadn't. But I was really betting on a continuation to the downside. But it's back to neutral and closed well. So I'm thinking Coke may be able to stretch from the 5-day anchored VWAP up to the 270. Actually, that's the 150 anchored VWAP, sorry. Let's see, regional banks, no trade. McDonald's, this is one that I'm speculating on overnight. This has been putting in a bottom, and today was a decisive move, and it's testing this double top over here. So if that works, it's going to close this gap and make a really strong move. So as I looked at that, in the black line that you saw, this, let me zoom out again. This black line up here is the 30-day anchored VWAP. So you can see this has been just a horrendous sell-off, but then this has been 6 or 7 days of just stable move. And this was an SSC and got a second position on. And then it closed really well at the top of the daily range. And that had cleared all the previous resistance. So now my spider sense is that this could actually be the start of that move. So I've got 2 positions on with 6R in hand as a buffer, and that will be my #1 priority to manage in the morning. 3M. This was a 1, 2, 3 rollover, and for an R, this was just the inside channel trade. After it bottoms out here at the RL10 reversal, you take the exit at the skin of the dragon, and that gives you an R. Merck, same trade, 1R. Microsoft, collapsing dragon, rebound. I think I may have stayed too long on that one, but that's 2R. But I took the standard exit at the skin of the dragon. Marijuana, this was a sideways quiet channel breakout for a couple R. It ran all the way up to $9.60 before I got out back here. I may have given back too much, but Nike caught a 2 continuation for a fraction. Nvidia, collapsing dragon short for 2R. Clean energy, no trade. It's putting in a nice solid bottom here at 20.25. So I'm looking for some rebounds, and there's some clear measured targets on the way up to get back to normal. So we'll watch that one close. Palantir tried the collapsing dragon short, got out with a scratch. Rivian is next. Rivian was a caught a 2 continuation scratch. SOUN was a 1, 2, 3 short for a scratch. Treasuries, I thought strongly about this as an SSC off the bottom. Regretted not taking it, but that feels like a turning point in the treasuries. And now notice the glide path of this green line. That's the anchored 3-day VWAP, and that has reversed. And it got all the way back to the 5-day anchored VWAP. So if it breaks above 89.30, then you could see it get back to this cluster here is the next target up 90.75 and then up here. So if this is a continuation, that's leg one, that's leg two. Tesla 1, 2, 3 off the intraday bottom for an R. Walmart. This was a 1, 2, 3 rollover, came back through the VWAP, came back through the 5-day anchored VWAP and the Bollinger Band main. So just took the short, speculated in, took the skin of the dragon exit on the rebound. I thought about taking it at the yellow dot, but I waited for the official exit for an R. US Steel. This is with that same trade, a gap up and then immediate rollover on heavy selling pressure, crossing the VWAP, crossing the 5-period anchored VWAP, crossing the Bollinger Band main, standard risk, and that's about 4R after a really nice collapse in the afternoon. And then XLI, I felt was a perfect trade. It's been in this long sliding downward channel, and today, after yesterday's little rollover, today it opened here and started selling. So when it broke out of the dragon below the VWAP, I'm short with standard risk. It reverses here. So I take the exit at the skin of the dragon on the way back up, and that collects 3R. Really satisfied with that one, and really coming to appreciate XLI as a liquid, excellent intraday trading vehicle. This is the sniper trade of the day in marijuana. So this was the open right here, kind of chopped around. This was the first breakout from this chop. So we gave that a try long. I hit the exit right in here, but got filled right here for half an hour loss. It reversed. So I take the same trade and it breaks the, when it breaks the PSAR, same standard risk, that rolls over and exits. Probably should have been short here. But I gave it a break. It never really broke below these. And now when it makes a new high of the day, I just stumbled into it and it exploded. I at the 3R battle drill, added a second position. Here's where the R10 peaks. I hit the exit right here and got filled right here. So we end up getting 5R on the first one, 2R on the second one. That's a 7R trade. In the afternoon, this is a COTA 2 breakout, standard risk, picks up another R. So about 8R for the day on marijuana. Continues to show why it's one of the top trading vehicles of choice. Okay. Here's Tim. He's trading Alcoa today, tries the long, it rolls over for a loss, rebounds, COTA 2, rolls over -1, stops and reverses. That one earns 2 and erases those losses, so he's -0.1 for the day on that one. Kind of break even. He got what was available. Comes back with international paper, gets a quick short for a fractional 0.3, takes the next collapsing dragon. That one pays off massively. I might have been ready to try this as a second position. After this rolls over the second time, you actually have a second collapsing dragon on that little wiggle. That would that would have paid off, but he makes 2.2, 2.2 for the day there. George manages his risk here. You can't go short on ETHE. You can on the currency, but that's good risk management. It was worth a shot on the SSC. Does a great job here on IP. Perfect collapsing dragon, perfect reversal entry or reversal exit for 1.4R. Picks up another 0.4 on Home Depot on that slide. He got what was available there. I mean, that's really good timing and good work and good risk management here on Tesla. He elects not to take the reversal. That's really kind of a low risk entry though. The sell-off has been so painful, and today it did not really sell off. That makes you want to believe it could be the turning point. It's had two chances to break lower. It didn't. So maybe the path of least resistance is up. So be thinking about that as a failure to fail is information. Okay. But good work continuing his hot streak for this week, doing very well. All right, on the 150-day look back, we continue to sell off. It's now testing what we said before was the really important test at 500. It has come all the way down here. That's a 5% sell-off from the all-time peak. If this thing was reversed and instead of being a strong up and recovery, but instead was a long downward slide and reversal, we'd be all over this trying to get long. So we should be well prepared for the short side. You saw a preponderance of short side trading from me today on the first sign of weakness. So that's my bias right now. On the daily, sorry. This is the daily. It was a large range day today, and it closed poorly, and it's testing that 500. Any break below that is psychologically really crucial. It is a winter move well out of the Red River, and the expanding Red River tells you that the volatility is becoming significant. So this is the downward slope of the 3-period anchored VWAP, the 5-period anchored VWAP, the 10-period anchored VWAP, and even the 30-period anchored VWAP. So the whole shooting match is relentlessly on the short side. That's why my bias for the short-term trade is to the downside. The 30-minute shows just the erosion of the afternoon rebound. It just sold off really quick. That's just tactical trading. It was not persuasive to the longer term participants. We're still in bullish volatile. All three of the short term time frames are deep in the red. Volatility is coming to a crescendo here. This is the point where if this reverses, this is a heck of a sell-off. Remember, we have a nice strong move and now a minus 5% pullback. So you got to say, is this on sale? If so, you would see a bunch of buying pressure come in to run it back up to the previous high. Then if it breaks above here, you can get a second position on the long side. That's the argument for the long side technical trade. If it breaks below 500, look out below. 490 is in range. You've got almost all of the big indexes signaling the standard buy on dip opportunities, and those are high reliability systems. So that tells you this is genuinely a compound critical state, because we can see the downside risk, but the statistics say that over the long haul, the buy on dip opportunity here is a positive expectancy trade. So this is a very strong argument for big moves in either direction, and that's what makes it a compound critical state. This is a trader's market right now with no clear directional long-term bias. All right, in the Dow and the large caps, almost everything is on an auto framer. There's plenty of 5DDs to trigger in either direction. This is the 5DD, which is the long side trade, and then the 5DDF, the failure trade, is exceptionally good, so that if the upside trade fails and starts to sell off, you just trigger that in a collapsing dragon style intraday trade, and plenty of goodies to choose from. And then Pfizer is in a death spin, as is Home Depot, as is Cisco, as is Travelers. So there's plenty of targets for the downside. ETFs are in exactly the same boat. Not as many 5DDs, but plenty of auto framers and plenty of breakdowns to new lows and the 10-day and the 1-month chart. So it's a take your pick. Plenty of auto framers with the mechanical entries and the framing data located there. Mostly weakness in the NDXs today. A few bright spots that are noteworthy: Cliff, Coke, and McDonald's. I really like the Coke and McDonald's buy on dip, or buy quality on sale, is that argument. And then you have some Asia less Japan and consumer staples. Treasuries actually is looking like a good trade, but real danger in here in tech is just there's no love. And this is that downside bias short term. We're well below the river. The river is turning over. The RL30 has really committed to the downside. The 10 period has broken out of the yellow zone. The 90 has rolled over. How good was this turning point? That alert. We have been able to manage, I think, our intentions because of that turning point. That reversal in the Z-score of the RL90 is looking pretty magical. Here's where that price turned according to the Z-score, and that's where price actually turned. Here's where the warning was: this was peak upside, and that's just about right, with confirmation by the 30 and the 10 to help us refine our timing model. So I'm really persuaded this is an important chart for us. Okay. You don't often see this. Gold and silver have an ADX of 55 and 60. That's a 4 sigma strength of trend to the upside as gold makes new all-time highs. That's pretty darn remarkable. All right, that's everything for today. We'll get this published and posted and be ready for them tomorrow. Take good care.